Welcome once again to Breakfast Central. Now let's get into some of the stories that we're focusing on this morning. If you have, of course, been hearing about the little bit of controversy in the Labour Party after a guy named Jude Ezenwafor, appeared out of nowhere and was alleged to be or reported to be a new presidential candidate of the party. But of course, the news is rather saying that he is alleged to have received an ultimatum from Ohanaeze Ndigbo Youth Council Worldwide, led by Mazi Okwu Nnabuike, to withdraw from the contest. These, of course, are alleged reports. There are now reports that Ezenwafor has written to the national leadership of his faction of the party, informing them of his withdrawal, adding that his decision was personal, and also appealed to his supporters to understand him. This is coming amidst an ultimatum also given to him by the Movement for the Actualization of the Sovereign State of Biafra, MASOB.
Also, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, as well as the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, had also earlier dismissed Ezenwafor and his faction. But in all of this, the President General of OYC, Mazi Okwu Nnabuike, said that the letter of withdrawal was not enough, stressing that Ezenwafor should do a broadcast for the party to be convinced, adding that he can disown the letter at any time. Now, it's important to mention that if we compare this to what the Labour Party has said so far, this is what the Labour Party has said. They said there is only one Labour Party in Nigeria, and His Excellency Comrade Peter Obi is our presidential candidate. And this letter was signed by Barrister Julius Abure, the national chairman of the Nigerian Labour Party. So what we're seeing here is, of course, the politics that's involved in elections. But Joe, it will be important to hear what your thoughts are on this matter. We've seen this back and forth, everybody clamoring for a strong third force, and all of a sudden, the strong third force seemed to have been divided within itself, even though the Labour Party never expressly addressed this.
Well, this almost put a clog on the wheel yesterday. A lot of people were indeed shocked. They woke up to the story yesterday morning. I mean, we both, without Osawage here, nothing to hold to that, by the way. But we both saw the story as well in the morning. And not just us, but the entire social media sphere was indeed worried that how come after the APC National Convention, where they've picked a flag bearer in the name of Bola Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu, comes this story where Nigerians are indeed have shown that they will be voting for Peter Obi. And all of a sudden, here shows up a man that many do not know. And questions were being raised. Who is this guy? Who is this man? Where did he come from? How come he decides to show up on a very day like this where everyone is indeed getting set and ready? Because it's one thing to know your opponent, if you put it that way, in the face of competition or battle, and it's another thing to know who you're going against. So Olive and Osawage, when that story came up, there were a lot of back and forth, especially everywhere. People were saying this can't be true. In short, there were speculations, like I put it in quotes, speculations that came up that this person could have been under the payroll of someone else, or there seemed to be issues in the party that had not been resolved. And this led to him coming out to say, you know what, I'm going to put a dent on this plan of yours, since you want to contest for the political position of being the president of Nigeria. And I'm going to say, I too am going for the same position, or that same race, so to say. But as we speak now, it's no surprise that there's been a turnaround. He has tendered an apology, and he has also gone ahead to say he's withdrawing his race, is withdrawing from the race because of personal reasons.
Well, Joe, so for me, it's not strange to hear that these things happen every now and then, and this has happened with every political party in the country. Where somehow, somewhere, a factional leader, it even happens with Ohanaeze Ndigbo. There's many times that these things have occurred where somebody just springs out of nowhere and is, names himself a factional leader of, some party somewhere. And so this is not new. And like you said, it could be somebody who, of course, is being pushed or being sponsored by a different party entirely. I remember also there are certain states in the country that their opposition parties are funded by the party in power in the states, just, to ensure that they destabilize whatever sort of opposition exists in the state. So all these things, are normal with Nigerian politics. But, one thing for me, when I was, sharing the story, it says supporters Nobody knows who this person is. Nobody, not even in Labour Party, not, across the street from Labour Party's office, not down the road where, they all meet and have, drinks. Nobody knows who this person is as a Labour Party member, talk less of being a presidential candidate. So it's completely shocking, and I think that these are just parts of the things that happen when politics is being played in Nigeria. Also, if you remember, 2 other names didn't make it over the weekend. They didn't make it, or rather, to the end of the week. Chukwuka Monye and Kingsley Moghalu. Something happened, in the last couple of days that, has given a huge dent to their own political ambitions, with regards to being president. So, welcome to Nigerian politics. This is all part of the drama that you will see.
I mean, this faction drama didn't start now. The Labour Party did have a faction that was cut out in 2017 because he had thought that the then acting chairman was his time was up, or the then president, his time was up and they needed him out. But we've seen several back and forth in the Labour Party and several other parties. Now, this faction apparently is a faction led by certain Mr. Callistus Okafor, and there has been a letter by the NLC warning him to stay clear and warning everyone to stay clear of him and to stay clear of his antics, saying that, they have seen that he's trying to cause a distraction. It's a letter signed by Comrade Ayuba Waba, the president of the NLC, and he says, we understand that with the current repositioning of the Labour Party as a party for workers, students, etc., the Labour Party has become the albatross of establishment of political parties who have suddenly become jittery and are devising all forms of conspiracy theories and subterfuge to distract the Labour Party from ongoing mass mobilization efforts. They then went further to say, we hereby, this therefore serves as a public disclaimer on Mr. Callistus Okafor. We want the general public to stay clear of Callistus Okafor and characters who might want to cash in on the popularity of the Labour Party to hoodwink, extort, and swindle unsuspecting members of the public. So as it stands, at the end of the day, what we would say is, yes, there is another faction, but the faction recognized by the NLC, the faction recognized by INEC, and the faction recognized by Nigerians has said that the presidential candidate and the presidential flag bearer for the Labour Party is His Excellency Peter Obi. That's the tweet there. That's what we go by. Good luck to the Jude Ezenwafor, who has, become popular by this, but that's about as far as it goes.
Callistus, that's a pretty interesting name. Not a very common name,
Yes.
in Nigerian politics, but of course in the Southeast it's pretty popular. Callistus. Thanks a lot, Joe. We'll definitely be bringing you in again sometime, during the course of the program to discuss more on politics and more on things happening across Africa.
All right, then. See you very soon for sports.
Okay.
Absolutely.